Have you, dear viewer, ever felt like jumping into the cockpit of a Lockheed Martin F-35 with no prior knowledge and just seeing where that goes? Well, I have the game for you. Vtol VR is a realistic air combat flight sim developed by one dedicated man. Loading into the game, you're going to be greeted with a few warcry machines to choose from. The first two are fighters that very much resemble the F-22 and the F-35, and the third, the AV-42C, is an actual tilt jet VTOL. I'm not an aviation nerd, so one of you comment whatever the real-life counterpart for that one is. The game is also semi-regularly updated with new DLC aircraft to mess around with, but I'm broke as shit, so I'll just keep to the base 3 for now. Hopping into a fighter cockpit for the first time is as overwhelming as you'd probably expect. There's going to be all sorts of buttons and switches around you that have no clear purpose. You'll get a startup routine down eventually, but the learning curve of this game is steeper than the mountain you just crashed into. Oh, I'm just going to crash myself to the ground. Oh my god. How are people good at this? I definitely recommend getting a hang of the plane's controls before you try to launch any sort of combat mission. Thing taken off. What am I doing? Do you think it'll still fly? Once you've gotten that down though, it's time to get into the real bread and butter of this game. Vtol simulates both air-to-air and air-to-ground combat. This might bring to mind those classic theatrical dogfights with those crazy-ass aerial maneuvers, but for the most part, it's going to consist of firing radar-locked missiles from 30 kilometers away. Attempting to get close enough to dogfight will usually result in the enemy fighter peppering you with missiles before you can even get a visual on them. But if dogfighting is your thing, there's quite a few multiplayer servers dedicated to that type of combat. Now, missile combat isn't just done at the click of a button. You have to turn on your radar, toggle as your sensor of interest, and use the right thumbstick to double-click the enemy fighter. This will lock them in on your radar, and from there you can fire as many missiles as you want, and honestly forget about them as they'll automatically track them. This will take some getting used to, especially when you're fighting for your life, locked by multiple enemy missiles. But watching your missiles slam into an enemy jet is a satisfaction you really won't get anywhere else. Air-to-ground combat is going to be a whole new beast.
Altitude.
Oh, I just hit myself with my own bomb. The most efficient method for bombing the local airbase? No, there's no way I just did that. Oh my god! Is usually going to be the list of guided bombs available when you're configuring your plane. These usually require some way to put coordinates into the targeting panel, like the targeting camera, as well as a proper lineup. But if you're lazy like me, and you don't want to consistently switch between 14 different computer screens, just use the unguided bombs. They'll give you a nice little circle of death. The game comes with a few missions unique to each plane, and has a thriving Steam Workshop community, if those ever start to bore you. For those of you with weak little stummies, this game will absolutely give you motion sickness. Seriously, everyone is brave until their plane is spiraling out of the air at Mach 2 after a SAM site takes out your right engine. Ass this. Bye. If you can get past that though, I definitely recommend picking it up. There's nothing quite like the first time you roll down the side of the Grand Canyon.
Right engine failure. Left engine failure. Right engine failure. Left engine failure. Right engine failure.
Okay, I'll turn them
Left
on.
engine failure. Landing gear. Landing gear.
I
Landing
bet we can
gear.
land it in the desert.
Landing gear.
I can't. I'm gonna
Landing
see if I
gear.
can go up here and do it.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Come on, you can make it. No, 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 no. Oh shit.